Hello, everybody. All right, let's talk about how to complete the Annotate Rifkin article. This one's slightly different than the other articles that other assignments like this, mostly because I'm asking a few different things from you. Okay, so make sure you read this carefully and do everything that I ask here. If you do it in the old way, you're going to get a lot of points off. So I'm grading it based on, do you do all these things that are asked of you? Okay. So number one, we want you to survey the text and make a note about the author, title, publication date, author's background. So, look up the author. Is it someone that you would trust on this topic? Do a Google search. What does the title tell you? The publication date, is this, recent enough for your taste to be, reliable source. And sometimes the author's background is at the end of the article or the beginning of the article anyway. So take a look at that. Okay, so make some notes just in the usual way where you highlight, whatever you want to make a note about, and then click the note. If you go to a Google Doc, you should know how to do that to make a note. Then you're going to read the article, what we call with the grain. Okay, this is as if you agree with everything, whether you do or you don't. Just see what you can write down based on trying to agree with what the author says. So you're going to make comments that support his argument. You can provide examples of what he's saying, make connections to anything in your life, comment on his writing or arguments, or make any comment that explains why you support his argument. Then you're going to make sure anytime you do that, anything that you support, any argument you support, highlight it in a particular color. You choose what color. And it would be really helpful if you make a key for me, at the end or the beginning of your paper, so I know what corresponds with what, which color corresponds with what you're doing. Then you're going to read the article again, and this time you read it against the grain. So that means that you're looking at it through the lens of a critic, right? I don't agree with this, and just tear apart his article in any way you can. The way it was written, the lack of support, the logos is faulty. You tell me. So you just make a comment that goes against it, and then make sure you highlight all those in a different color. Okay, so I can look at your screen and go, oh, okay, you mostly agreed or you mostly disagreed, or I get an idea of where you're at just by looking at the screen. But then also don't forget to make these comments as well. Then you're going to label a few places where you notice Rifkin employing ethos, pathos, and logos. There's a little bit of each. At least pathos and logos. If you don't find ethos, you can make a note of that. And then highlight each of those in a different color too. So far we're up to 5 colors, right? Then finally, the last thing is do these things, but you don't need to highlight them. Okay, so just anywhere you see these things, make sure you make a note. Rifkin's thesis statement. Okay, so it should be pretty clear what his thesis statement is. And all you have to do is highlight it and just write thesis statement, right? Then anytime you see a shift from the intro to a body paragraph, make that note. Just say, this is the end of the intro paragraph, highlight it. A shift from one argument to another argument, and then a shift from body paragraph to the conclusion. So you're just noting, section divides. These are all the things that we would do over like 3, 4, or 5 days if we were taking a traditional class. One day we would look at it together, just reading it with the grain, then we read the article again against the grain, then we so you're doing it all at once. And then don't forget, when you submit your assignment, and you might as well do this at the beginning, make sure you change your share settings to anyone with a link can edit. If you don't, I can't see your arguments or your notes, and then you'll get points off. And then click, just submit that as usual. I think that's it. If you have any questions, do a what do you call it? Remind.com. I don't know why my picture didn't show up this time. That's weird. All right. I hope that was helpful. Oops, I meant to click. Let's try that again. I hope that was helpful.